complacency in relationships, right? I'm sure I'm gonna go out on a limb and just say everybody's experienced that in a relationship. Y'all been in a relationship for a long time, so I'm gonna shut up and listen.
Oh man,
that's I don't want to use that.
I just wash my hands.
Oh boy, I'm gonna put that crickets joint right in there too.
I'm just
that's funny.
just walk with
It's tough. Anytime you've been in a relationship for a long time, like especially today, like it's easier to look out and be like, see what you don't have, or see like what's out there, and see like, oh, like they're doing this, and like we always talk about, not that we always bring up social media, but like that's the era we in. Like it's just an era of comparison. Like you just see other couples doing certain things, or you see like maybe your single friends like having the time of their lives, and you're kind of sometimes you might feel like a certain way about being in a relationship at that point when all your single friends are having fun. But like it's easy to feel like, hey, like did I make the right choice? Like am I just settling? Am I like, is there someone better out there who's more of a match for me? Like those are all thoughts, especially like around, like I always say, like first year is honeymoon phase, year 2 maybe, but like by year 3 you really start to kind of like look around, your eyes get a little wider, like to really see what's going on, and especially depending on how your friend situation is. Like fortunately with you guys have kind of, at least one of you has been in a relationship at the same time, so it's always kind of been balanced. But there are situations like out there where sometimes you are the only person in a relationship, and you definitely gonna feel away when your friends they seem like they can have more fun when they go out, when you go out to the club, and you feel like
tired of being designated.
I'm about to say, like, you gotta drive everybody home, you gotta be the Mr. Responsible and all that, but like, yeah, like, so it can be tough.
I mean, just to like piggyback off of your social media comparison, like I think what ends up happening is, especially like as you get older and you get more mature in a relationship, is like you get like you have these benchmarks that you see around you, like, you know, obviously around our age, a lot of people are getting engaged. You have people that around you might be getting engaged. It might be, you know, kids. People might be having kids. So then that kind of like draws into complacency. I think what a relationship, like the most important thing about it sometimes is like having like milestones, just for anything. Like we talk about a job, for example, like Aaron was saying, like if you haven't had a promotion in 5 years, like what are you gonna feel like? If you know, you might have had a good review, you might have had a raise, but like you don't feel like there's anything that I'm working towards. And the same kind of goes with kind of goes with complacency with a relationship. It's like you got to have milestones to look forward to. You know, like we talked about, year 1 through 3 is kind of like filling each other out. Like maybe we move in, or maybe we get something together, we buy a major purchase together, or maybe we, you know, go on a trip together, like out of the country. Like there's just certain things that I think as an awareness piece that needs to happen from like a male and a female perspective is like, what are we doing? Like, because if we're not moving forward, are we moving backwards? Especially in like a relationship, and it can feel that way, especially when social media amplifies that. When you got, you know, people looking around you like, man, like so and so's getting married, or that person's getting engaged, or they're having a wedding. Like, what are we doing? And it's like, before all of this, I imagine that you ain't know what the fuck was going on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you had to read the newspaper to see if mother got married or some type of shit.
Oh, Johnny Boy got married.
Good for him.
Read the announcement section.
Good for
Yeah,
him.
you know what I mean? Good for him. So, you know, it's kind of, it puts a heightened awareness in a bad way, in my opinion, that, you know, is not necessarily a good thing, in my opinion. So,
I must say, Malik, that was like one of the best bars you've ever dropped within one of our podcasts, when you said like it's like being at a job for 5 years and you haven't like got a promotion. Yeah, that's pretty damn deep right there. I'm going to write that down. That was pretty smart. Not to insult you and say that you never said anything better, but that was...
He got to play ever on this podcast.
All 77 episodes.
Out of the 77 episodes,
You
finally spoke to my heart. Nah, but that's like, that was like it's like a real thing right there though, because when you put it that way, it does kind of just like emphasize the way that complacency just kind of seeps in. Like, if you're sitting around and you've been doing the same thing over and over and over again for years and years and years, yeah, that is going to start to affect you. It's like, bro, even when you think of complacency on like little like grain levels, it's like, damn, I am tired of going to dinner at Alero's. Like, when are we going to do something different? Like, what's our Friday night plans going to change? And just be like, you can just get so set within the pattern of things. Like within a relationship, you're like, yeah, be happy, you know, that type of stuff. But it's like, yeah, we're happy, but I do need to be tinkering. It's like, I feel like we just get so happy within a relationship, being like, yo, especially we hit like a patch where it's like, you're not arguing, you know, y'all are good, y'all are having fun. It's like, you know, you'd be like, all right, cool, we just keep going the way that we going, and we gonna be good. And it's like, either you or her, you know, we'll be with one way or another. Somebody gonna be bored, or somebody gonna be like, all right, cool, when we gonna do something different? And it's just like, it just really stands out. It's like, yo, we just hit so many different levels of complacency. It's just like, one way or the other, you will always be in some type of place where it's like, something has to be different about a relationship. You can't just keep it the same way over and over.
Yeah, so, so when I look at, like, complacency, I guess, so where I was trying to bring the conversation, I guess, is like, when you talk with your partner, because like me and Shay had a conversation about that. When you talk with you and your partner, it's one thing from like from our point of view, like complacency, but like from your partner's point of view, it's just, like you say, you're doing like the same thing over and over again, and like, things you used to do in the past that might have been like, like the little cute things might have worked back then, like, when your situation was different, whether it was financially, whatever. But like now everybody's in a different place. Like maybe you might have to. And I've been guilty. That's why I guess my question was like, from my perspective, I've been guilty in the past of thinking, oh well, if I do X, Y, Z, and you like X, Y, Z, whether it's like you buying you like a little thing or taking you to this place, that might have worked when we were 22, 23, 24. But now that we're in a different financial area, or we're older and our tastes are different, sometimes, you're comfortable with that. This has worked forever. Why don't we change it? But, your partner might be, well, I'm in a different space. I'm a different person right now. I want something a little bit more. Yeah. So that's something that me and Shanae have talked about, like, for a while. Not, like, in, like, a super, super bad way, because I think that's just part of a relationship. People change and their tastes change or whatever. Like, oh, I went to the store and I bought you your favorite juice. Awesome. That might have worked when you're broke as shit, but just getting that same juice. You're 65 years old. Oh, I got you. Your lunch was great. Oh, here you go. Thank you. It might be, I don't want lunch was grape. I want, a bottle of champagne or whatever. Just stuff like that.
I want my way.
Yeah. So I guess do you have like specific examples like in your relationship? If it's too painful, then definitely don't.
Before we move on though, but I feel like with that point though, it's like that could actually backfire on you though. It's like, cause then if you always like, it's the little things, like you used to give me roses or you used to give me flowers and then you stop, or like for example, you used to always give me my juice and then you stop. Like that could be a complacency in a negative way though, because now it's like you're not doing the little things. You're always trying to think of something larger to do for me when you're not even doing like a bare minimum per se. Like it can kind of backfire on you. Like I'm used to you giving me my juice, now you getting me champagne. Like you know what I mean, like. What about my juice?
I want my juice.
So I want my roses, you know what I mean? Like, and then I can, that kind of a big thing about relationships is that men or women or just in general, we forget about the little things that we did in a relationship that got us to this point.
Well, it's still the same little thing. It's the same thought. It's just you upgrade it, right?
Yeah.
Just like Pokemon, like you Charmeleon,
upgrading
to Charizard. It's still like the same thought, right? I'm not saying like, oh, buy me a $8,000 Louis bag or anything like that, but it just.
He's trying to play you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you do that? Oh, my bad. Okay. Oh, sorry. My bad.
That's supposed to be on Patreon, but now you over here telling everybody shit.
No, did you do this? Oh, sorry.
Speak on. You good?
I thought that was funny.
Man. It was ironic. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. But
building off that though, like that's a good point. I think like that happens a lot with what you were saying, Malik. Like I think we do so much to get the girl that we want, that when we finally get the girl, that the effort kind of, we don't put as much effort. So that does go into the complacency piece. Like, all right, got you. Like, why I gotta go the extra mile? Like we already engaged. Why we gotta go on all these dates? Why I gotta buy you flowers? Like we're engaged. Like, but no, like you kind of do got to think about keeping that thing up. Like you got to keep it interesting. Like you when you think about it for the long run, like I always say like lifelong relationships. Like you have to continuously build on it. You got to continuously find new ways to have fun.
Yeah, because I think like it can't just be from our point of view. I know it's our podcast, but you got to think about how your partner feels, right?
Yeah.
Like it's because people, both sides can get complacent, and I know me, like I'm a very structured person. Like my routine doesn't change, but I like what I like, and I enjoy that. And my partner, she's not like that. She's very creative. She's very like, I don't know, like organized chaos. Like she's just more of like a free flowing person than me. Mm-hmm. So I would personally be somebody who's comfortable with not necessarily doing the same thing every day, but like you know, like I can fall into that routine and not even realize I'm in that routine. Like, oh, this is my life. And she's the kind of person where, you know, you need more, which is totally fine, but that's part of, you know, if I was dating somebody who was just like me, and they were just like every day just doing like the Squidward and SpongeBob, or just doing like, that might be cool, right? But you know, depending on your partner, that might not be cool.
And the older you get, I feel like it's easier to get in that routine because especially when we're working full time, like you go to work like 5 days out the week, like or like most of the day, like you get home, like sometimes you're gonna fall into your same habit, same routine, like in the morning, same thing. In the weekends, like maybe you just want to go out with your friends or have a drink or do the same thing. So it's easier, like as you get older, to fall into the same cycle of doing things. So,
yeah. Especially when things are like pulling you different directions, and you're just like, nah, I like to stay with my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I think as humans, we shy from like uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
And like trying new things is very foreign to us, but it's kind of like in a relationship is, you know, you gotta continuously push yourself. Like, what if she's not gonna like this? Or what if, you know what I'm saying? Like, what if I'm doing too much in a relationship? That, you know, how can I one up myself from here? Like, you know, we go to 5-star Michelin restaurant. Like, where else is there from here? Like, you know, like shit.
You said we going to Michelin star restaurant.
Actually, there's not a 5-star Michelin. There's only 3 stars. I'm sorry.
Excuse me, I ain't know.
I'm not that rich. Oh no, I was gonna say that.
I'll still be out back. I know.
You just sold that nuggets.
Them Kookaburra wings.
Nah, but I think that like what you said about one upping yourself, that goes into kind of like what Aaron said. Cause I mean, like just like an example from like my life where it's like I kind of just realized where I'm being complacent rather than like trying to advance myself. Would be like vacations. Mm-hmm. It'll be like, oh, all right, cool, we're gonna go on vacation, but if I go on vacation with you, sometimes when I go on vacation with her, it's like I don't think as hard as I should in terms of like, oh, I'm gonna take you to Mexico. Like I've left the country, I've done things before. I've been to DR, I've been to Mexico. Like I've done those things. She hasn't. But I haven't thought about, oh, you may want to go there. Because in my mind, I was like, we went to New York like 2 years ago. And that shit was fun as hell to me. I enjoy going to New York. Like, man, it was fun.
You want to go to Hamilton?
I'm about to say, you want to go to Broadway again? We can go see a play. But it's like, yo, I'm not like, I'm just thinking, oh, I'm staying here in this mindset, complacency. Rather than like stepping outside of that and like trying to challenge myself and be like, oh, snap. So you don't just want, like with your example, you just don't want this juice anymore. Now you want something extra in addition to this juice. Like now you may want the juice, but you may want to splash of vodka in it to give it a different taste. I don't know. And it's like, yeah, I'm not adding in that splash sometimes. And it's like, that is like a really big thing where you just like get so stuck in your ways, or sometimes you just don't notice these things. Like, oh man, I didn't think that you haven't been there. I've been thinking I did these things, and I've been telling you how overrated some things are, but let me take you there so that you can go see that riding the horse in Mexico really ain't that DR. Really ain't all that it's cracked up to be. You know, it's like, yeah, it's like you really gotta help other people to see these things sometimes. It's like we just don't, as guys, sometimes we just don't get it, or we just don't think about it. I know that's how it goes for me sometimes. It's like, as long as I'm doing something for you sometimes, I think that I'm doing enough. But it's like, yeah, just doing something is cool, but it may not be the something they want.
I think I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I mean, I think just like, a thing that us guys we do is like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
No,
you know what I mean? Like, and I think that's kind of like, gets to like our point is like, we had to be open for communication from our partner, and then like I feel like our defense from complacency is to say something like that, like, you know, we got a good thing going, like why would you want to mess it up? You know what I mean? Why you want more, or why you want something different, like, you know? And then instead of just being open to be like, okay, like you don't want that anymore, okay, well what can we do to, you know, get some spice to the relationship? What can we do to get us out of this complacency? And you know, I think that's obviously another topic for another day, but you know, that's our biggest hurdle as men. Sometimes I think we just get into that, you know, it's going smooth, it's not inconvenience, we get comfortable. Then when we get challenged, it's like they're the issue, not us, because we good with what's going on. But for them, it's like why you messing up this? Like why you want more? You know, type thing. So.
That's actually a good. That made me think about. So what do you do like when you get into? Because we've all been in relationships like for a while. So how do you? I know the question is like kind of like what do you do when you get bored, but how do you keep your relationship interesting? Like especially like when you get to year 3, year 4, like how do you make sure that you guys don't get bored or complacent in a relationship?
Google.
Google's the answer for everything.
Google's the answer. Google on so many forums.
The internet.
Why is my girl mad at me?
Nah,
well,
there's YouTube videos for that too.
You can find 1,000 things to do on Google.
Yeah, I mean, Just talk to your partner.
Oh, okay, cool. Basically,
Aaron's like, stop fucking joking.
Don't. I mean, like, just you gotta talk to your partner and see what they like. At that point, if you're in a relationship for 3, 4, 5 years, you should be able to talk to your partner and understand. One, you know what they like, but again, like I said, people change. Well, that's one thing I've learned in the last couple of years. People like evolve and like, people. We're humans. We're not just like a set thing. People evolve over time. So just make sure you're adapting with your partner, and what they like and what they expect. If you haven't had that conversation with your partner in like 3, 4 years, and they're bored or whatever, I mean that's kind of on you, right?
You do your homework.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? And I guess there's an argument to make, well, you didn't tell me that, like...
Yeah, I mean,
that's
right?
Probably but
common argument.
Yeah, but you gotta talk to your partner. That's the only way you can know, like, if things are yay or nay.
Well, what do y'all do when y'all are feeling complacent? Like, if you feel like your partner's been doing the same thing over and over again.
Talk to
I don't know what I'm saying. Like,
it's easier said than done, to be
honest.
honest.
That's for your personal experience. Do you, like, talk to your partner and you feel like she's been, not boring you, but just, like...
Yeah. I mean, what else would you do?
I mean, look,
it's not always easy to be like, hey, you're boring me, or like, hey,
like,
how do you
saying that?
I ain't saying like being callous. I ain't saying it's like callous way, but it's like, a lot of us. I mean, for me personally, like my communication skills are trash sometimes.
If you have any type of like conflict, whether it's small or large in your relationship, do you not talk it out? Like, how else would you resolve it?
I know, but boredom is something in particular that's.
I mean, okay, well, you don't have to say boredom, right? Like, they don't say, God damn, like he's wearing that same dress for fucking 3 years. I'm tired.
I mean, you wouldn't make anybody bored.
It's just saying, it's instead of just saying, oh, I'm bored, it can be like, oh, like, I kind of feel like we've been doing this. Can we find examples of what is not boring to you? Whether that's, oh, let's take a trip to X place, or instead of going to this restaurant, let's go to that restaurant, or instead of having sex the same way, we'll do this instead. Like, the only way. Just communication. That's the only way.
So if you're bored, because like a lot of people don't know how to have that conversation, like myself included. Like I don't know how to always say like, hey, like I don't really like sexually we can all get into that bad, but like, hey, I don't really like you dress the same, or hey, we always go to this restaurant, or hey, we always do this, or we don't do this. Like
those two conversations. Okay, so the dress part. Yeah, that one, I don't know. That is a little.
The sex part too, though. If you say something like I don't like I want to do sex is a difficult conversation. It's not none of this is easy. I don't think.
I think we just act like I walk up to a person and say, or I go up to my.
It's
my,
not
my
a
girl.
person. It's your.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying like A and B. I'm just saying like I walk up to my girl that's been in a relationship for 4 or 5 years. I don't like the way we have you go back.
Right, because it's a bump. Because if you've been sitting on that for 3 years and then you say
okay, 2 things. One, you don't have to just say, I don't like X. You can just say, oh, we do it this way. There's ways you can say things.
But you gotta lock in that negativity to make them change.
But two, like, I mean, how do you resolve, like, I don't understand that.
But how do you say it? Because you're saying,
you have a conversation. So, I mean, I guess I understand.
Too much communication could be a negative too, though. Because now, it sounds like
somebody's feelings gonna get hurt.
That's what I'm saying. If you're always nitpicking small shit, or you always talking about like,
hold on, flag. No one's talking about having constant conversation. But if something is bothering you to the point that you're feeling bored is bad. Bored is how cheating happens. Bored is how people leave. So like, if I'm feeling like that bored, well, no, I'm not gonna just sit there and hold on it and fuck my relationship. Like, talk to your, like, how would you not talk to your partner? I understand. Like, oh, hi, honey. Oh, we're in the bed. Me and Shay have deep conversation. We're just sitting in the bed, like, and we'll just talk about shit. And
that's half my problem. I hate conversations sometimes.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of people hate conversations. Like, why do you think the divorce rate is so high? People don't talk. People don't talk. No, what you're saying is perfect advice, but it doesn't happen.
You are so right.
To me, that seems like. To me, that seems like.
That's how it should be. I agree.
To me, that seems like, like, I would, it's really hard to, put my seatbelt on. Like, just put your seatbelt. Or it's hard to, like, drive. You have to do these things. Hard to pay taxes.
Let me say this. Like I enjoy, like, TMI, but I enjoy sex with my girl or whatever. Like, shit is good. But, like, I don't know how to say. Thumbs up, bro. I don't know how to say like, hey, I want to like do something different without hurting feelings and shit. Cause like then it's gonna feel some type. Cause imagine if your girl is saying like 3 years, 4 years in, hey, can I get something else? Or can we do something else. Like that you like men with ego.
Okay,
Like some men is like.
I'm not gonna say you won't take it in some kind of way, but then you have to be like, okay, well she's asking me to do this, so well let's try it, right? Like, all right, for instance. You have sex missionary. You've been having sex missionary for 8 years. All right, you've been doing this for 8 years.
That don't look like visionary.
Like, you're doing it for 8 years. So like, I don't know. Like, you have a conversation. Oh, I saw this in a porn movie. Whatever. We should try this. Like, I mean, how is that like a hard conversation? I guess I don't understand.
So I'll be honest with you. It's not the stuff that you're saying is like rocket science. But the stuff that you're saying is stuff that my therapist had to explain to me at like 27
Like, would your
years
girlfriend be
old.
offended if you say, "Oh, instead of just missionary, we should do back shots"?
No, I think you just gotta go and do it. You can't just fucking
yeah,
talk.
you
You
gotta
can't just talk to somebody and be like, hey, like, let's do back shots tonight. Like, you just, like I'm just saying, like, for a sexual type of thing,
Sometimes
unless
when
you
you're
like,
not to make it all about
Okay,
sex.
so take back shots. Like, back shot that's a simple thing. If you want to do anal, you're just gonna do anal on your fucking girl. Oh. Turn around. No. Like, you're going to talk to her about it first, right? Like, I'm confused.
Some
no, that's
I'm
what
a
I'm
little
conversation about
confused.
that. I mean, that's
That's what we're talking about.
Sometimes when you're bored, not to make it all about sex, but when you're bored with sex, sometimes you don't always know exactly what you want. Like maybe you're like, I just want something different, that type of shit. You get what I'm saying?
I guess
Like,
if you're
that's more of a woman
if
thing, I
you're
think.
working to a relation, whether it's sex, whether it's vacate with excitement, like you can only work to that goal if you're working to a goal of being married and together forever. If you communicate, we're all in that boat. Well, me and Darren, we're in that boat, right? Malik, we're in that boat, right?
What are you talking about? What are we in?
I was like, in that point, yeah, thank you.
Because you look crazy when I said that. So anyway,
Oh,
if we're all in
talking
that,
about the sex part, sorry.
whatever. I'm just talking about
Gotcha,
if we're all
go ahead.
working to being together and all that. Well, then you gotta work with your partner in that. So you have to be able. I don't see how you can get to that point if you can't have uncomfortable conversations with your partner. And I'm not just saying I understand you because my partner's not the best person at communicating. She'll be the first person to admit that too. I don't understand like how you that works.
Oh, Sam,
I don't
because
understand that.
for me personally, just in terms of what you're saying, in terms of being able to communicate, I have this like stupid ass idea in my head that I want to be a good guy, and so the good guy doesn't hurt your feelings. So I have to just try to play this off as best possible so that I'm not trying to hurt your feelings.
So I got that part. That makes sense. So we talked about maybe clothes, which maybe can hurt feelings.
Oh,
I don't see how sex. I want to try anal tonight. How is that hurting someone's feelings? Like I don't understand.
Girls are y'all know women are smart as shit. Like if we say anything like 3 years in, we never say anything about sex, and then all of a sudden
girl
we're
to
like,
try anal, she's gonna be offended by that. Like I don't understand.
She might be more inquisitive, like, why the fuck you want to try anal, nigga? Like, what you been looking at?
trying anal is like a specific example because that's a conversation you do have.
All right,
You
you
do it in a whole different
I want to
place.
start having public sex. Like, is
No
she
one's having that
offended by that?
No one's having that conversation.
I'm not gonna say no one.
But what if it's not that? What if you're bored with the sex?
Oh,
This is not my situation. But what if there are people out there who
frequency? There could be a lot of
the
things.
frequency or your girl just don't like? What if she don't know how to ride dick and you like girls who can ride dick? How you want to say that?
I mean, like,
Ride my dick while I believe. Like what you gonna say?
I don't know. All I can do is
You gotta go with the hand you dealt.
All I can do is like
Provide
literally
the
try to find a way to fix that situation. But I'm gonna be with somebody forever. Oh, I don't know. Shit. Oh, well, let's try some porn tonight. Whatever porn star you think rides the best dick, you play her video and shit. Listen. You can either try to find a way to fix that, or you'll be unhappy and you'll be cheating your whole. So I don't really understand.
I'm not about to cheat off of just because my girl can't ride a dick.
But my thing is,
But
I guess.
Oh my god. Well, that's an irrational ass motherfucker. I'm saying there's a buildup of
But I guess my point
Oh.
is, if you can't have uncomfortable conversation with your partner, then what are we doing? I don't understand. I just
You're
absolutely
right.
I'm not saying you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong.
It's no go.
We playing devil's advocate. It's
No,
hard.
I'm not saying I learned the way you're saying this actually
because
gets
I
done.
understand. Like my partner does not conversate very well, but bro, like I tell her we have to talk. Like otherwise it's not gonna work. So I force it. There's no way to do it.
So it's always kind of just been
You have to
like
communicate.
comfortable, like just having those conversations.
No, it's
You have
not
to
comfortable.
work-
I'm not
you have to
saying
work
that. No,
out.
there's a decent amount of these conversations that are uncomfortable, whether it's about whatever the topic is. But I guarantee you, things change after you have those conversations.
Yeah, facts.
where I am in my relationship now as opposed to where I was 3 years ago. Like, I'm not giving details what it is, but like it's a lot better because we talked it out. Otherwise, you don't talk it out, and then like everybody just starts resenting people, and then
That resentment be real.
I mean, I just
You know, it's kind of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because that resentment after like you go like 3-4 years and you ain't say
okay.
shit.
So like if you're
Yeah.
in a scenario with that's all three of you because we only got 5 minutes left, so everybody quick. You're in a scenario whether it's sex, whatever, because obviously when we get deep into it, we get specific. You niggas start acting stupid. So whatever something is bothering your relationship, it's important. What do? Like, do you just not talk to your girlfriend or your fiance about it? I just don't understand. How does that
Oh,
work?
so for me, it used to be hold it in for a while and then just blow up and talk about it somewhere. So,
No, because
that's more common than you
and
think.
it's how
that's-
help you.
that's
Especially
like
for black men.
I
Especially
don't
for black
see it
men.
as a huge problem unless
Okay,
it's like
that's
no. I think it's like I think certain things. It depends on the importance to each person. Everybody's different. Like
Yeah.
if it's like I'm tired of you not like cleaning your hair off the wall while you wash your hair. It's just some silly shit. You know what I mean? Or you're not putting a toothbrush cover on your fucking toothbrush. Like, am I gonna hold that in and blow up on your ass? No. But like if it's
That's not what we're talking about.
but
No,
that
that
is what I'm talking
it's not
about.
the same
Because I
thing.
mean, communicating. Like, if I'm nitpicking on every single thing, and then, you know,
Bro, we're not talking about nitpicking. We're talking about serious conversation and boredom and complacency. You're talking about just daily.
but that's a
boredom.
buildup of things, though. Like, it could be,
All right,
it
well,
could be
fine.
anything that
Well,
can
fine.
blow up,
Okay,
that can blow
if
up.
it's stuff that even if it's petty stuff, are you not going to address it at some point? Not saying like, and I've been
Because
guilty.
people are people. You know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
not saying just like it's not good to sit there. Oh, you didn't do that. You didn't do that. Do that. And I've been guilty of that in the past because like I have OCD and I try not to do that.
Serious, you.
But at a certain point, if something just keep accumulating and is bothering you, yes, talk about it. You don't gotta be, oh, you idiot, do all this. Be like, oh, you've been doing this action and it bothers me. So can you not do that action anymore? Like, is that crazy? I don't understand.
No, it's not crazy. Because sometimes we don't always like, especially like, say for example, like you've been dating for 3 years, y'all haven't lived with each other, y'all live separately, then y'all finally move in year 4. Like, but before that, y'all love the shit out of each other. Like y'all did everything together. You move in, like she don't wash her drawers how you like or some shit. Like it was like she don't clean her toothbrush. She had the same toothbrush for years. Like it's a lot of those little shit adds up, and that would blow the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like,
So I
you know what I'm
guess
saying?
the way I look at I'm very binary when I look at life. It's either you do it, you address it, or you don't, and shit
you
goes
are
right.
right.
So,
I mean, nobody's saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's easier. It's easier.
It's all said and done.
okay, so again, give me an example of how you've navigated that scenario in your relationship.
Like when you find that hair on your wall is Tuesday night. You
Well, I don't want to talk about. I don't want to
about.
talk about fucking just like.
Okay.
Cause we're talking about complaints. We're talking about like serious
Yeah.
thing. We're not talking about just like minor shit. Like
So, I mean, like, we'll give you an example. Like, women and men, sometimes we go at different paces. So, like, again, I'm going into the 6th year of my relationship. And obviously, you know what I'm saying, as we talk, like, on this podcast, you, Darian, obviously are going into, you know, getting engaged and, you know, things you about to get married soon, things of that nature. Like, that is, for me, that's not complacency because there are things that are going behind the scenes, like, about, you know, us progressing and stuff like that. But then you look at, you know, like from a woman's perspective, they're looking at, you know, social media or things around them. They're like, well, this is cool, but I want that. You know, that type of thing. So, like, my idea of complacency isn't that we're not moving forward. It's not what do you want specifically. Like, it might not be that itch and I might not be scratching that itch that you want. Because for me, we might be moving and there might be some spice in the relationship, but it might not be that itch, like I said, that you want. So how am I to say that we're complacent in the relationship and then the other partner is saying that we are? You get what I'm saying?
well, if one person feels that way, that has to be addressed.
But I think it's
Right.
easier said than done because, again, if you communicate with your partner and they want that, it's like we'll maybe simplify it, that juice situation, right? We're going to go back to the juice.
Back to that well.
So what if, you know what I'm saying, it comes down to, you know, like, if you have a specific juice that you get for your girl, right? And she doesn't want that specific one. Like, or she, you know what I'm saying, you get her a different brand this time, but you switching it up. Like, you're doing something different. Maybe it's not specifically what she wants. So how is that complacency if I'm doing something different to try to please you,
Well,
but it's not exactly what you want?
The entire podcast I've been talking about communicating. So I've been
But then that causes friction in a relationship though, because I feel like we're not complacent. Man, it's quite clear that we're not. But then that's not what you want. In terms of like,
Wait, bro,
it's a
what are you
miscommunication.
talking
It can be a miscommunication. Like, does nobody understand what I'm trying to say?
No.
I did, but I'm laughing at Aaron. Say it again.
I gotta repeat myself.
Bro, what do you mean? If your
Bro,
partner,
all I'm saying is complacency
listen,
isn't about X, Y, Z. It's about somebody's idea of something else would be different. Like if
but all you can do is work to you have to work to your partner though. If you're working
Let me build off.
You don't have a choice.
Some other advice that I've learned with that situation in particular is you have to kind of shut down, like even if it's year 3, year 4, whenever, you got to shut down the comparison of other couples. Like I made that a point, like in my relationship.
Yeah.
Stop comparing our relationship to anybody else because you don't know what the fuck people are going through. They're posting all these happy videos, but homeboy is beating the shit out of them. Like you don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's so fake. So you gotta hammer down on that early on and really get that to it. And I think that's one thing that me and Lex understand, like not to compare ourselves, and that's the first step in the battle. Because a lot of times these issues of complacency, like what have you done for me lately? Like you've been doing the same thing. Like I'm not happy because they're doing all this extra shit and you don't do all that. Like if you aren't comparing yourself to other couples, like that's the first step. Like you have to look at what's good in your relationship. Not saying that you should be blind to stuff that bores you, because like Aaron says, like that stuff adds up. If you go like year 5 to 10 and like you're not saying shit that bores you, and then all of a sudden you blow up and say all this stuff, and then the person's gonna have a hard time trusting you, because how can I believe that whatever you're saying is sincere?
So you want, all right, I want a more, I'll give you an example, concrete example. I want more commitment from you. Okay, cool. I take that as, let's go get a dog together. Cool. Well, she meant a ring. Am I complacent?
Because that's your mistake, because you assumed. You can't assume. That's a whole different podcast. You can't assume with women. You can't assume.
But I feel like I'm comfortable. If I'm comfortable with that, and that's not specific.
Yeah. I mean, Aaron.
Man, you tell no.
I get it. Listen, you think you did well, but that was the wrong answer.
I understand that, but that's what I'm saying. That's what the friction comes. You can tell me, I want a ring for commitment. Okay, I'm not good with that. I'm gonna give you a dog.
Wait,
I'm just saying, like,
not in this hypothetical situation. She told you she wanted a ring as a form of commitment, and you got her a dog. Like, if you didn't know, then one can argue he tried.
That's what I'm saying.
But if she told you, I want a ring to show your
no. I'm just saying she did not tell me that. I'm just saying, like, you didn't give me a flag. I'm communicating. What do you want for? You didn't tell me specifically. You gave me free reign.
I'll give you this because yes,
sometimes it is on them.
No, because sometimes they can be vague. Yes, and
yes.
That has been. But my point is though, like,
it's up to us to ask
if you want to make it work, maybe you gotta have to work. Shit, I guess what I'm saying. Like, I don't know the same thing. They should be clear. Everybody
should do the part 2 of this on communication, because that clearly is.
I guess my point is, I guess we can just end it because like we're at 50 minutes, but. If you're working towards your partner, if your goal is to be together forever, you gotta do everything you can to be together forever. If that's your goal.
Ultimately, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, I just the hard part that a lot of people have is the how. Like I know, like communication is key for almost everything. Like you have to be sure that you tell your partner. You have to have those uncomfortable conversations. Like, but now like it's harder than ever. Like not to compare yourself. It's harder ever to not feel like you're being complacent, because you always see somebody doing better. Like you're like, can I do better? Like it's even going out. Like you go out, you always we always said this. Like you see somebody better, might see somebody better looking than your girl, or you might see somebody whose interactions with their girl seems better than yours. Like this is the comparison era. But I mean, you're right. I mean, nobody's knocking that. You have to communicate those things. You have to just kind of blur it out. There's a line with how you say that, and I'm not well versed on that. Sometimes I can come off blunt. Like and honestly, I don't really know how to not be blunt in those type of situations when you're saying, "Hey, I don't like this." Like without I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but when you're being honest, sometimes it most likely will hurt feelings, especially years in. You're like,
I mean, I guess that's
like it's tough, but it comes with adults.
I guess my idea.
No, you're right, but
yes,
a lot of adults that
my feelings have been hurt and relating, but it's either your feelings get hurt on July 17th. and then y'all together until death, or you're
or
you're hurt, don't get hurt, and then y'all just broke up in 3 months.
You're absolutely right, but that divorce rate is high for a reason.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Well,
But you're right. You are right.
Yeah.
Everything you said was spot on, and that's what we all need to do. We need to communicate. Like that's the key.
Yeah, so I mean, we can go. We might be able to talk about this. I don't know, next time we'll see. But maybe get a female voice in. But I think we should wrap it up here. Okay.
You put a perfect
Quite frankly, I'm tired of you niggas.
you put a perfect bow on there. I thought you was going to say, hey, man, go ahead.
Yeah, what's up with you?
Aaron's more mature than us, guys. He's the oldest.
Clearly.
Okay.
Aaron is talking about everything. You got too much toe jam.
I don't. Listen,
I've
man.
never heard that expression in my life.
Listen, that's not true because I don't address shit with y'all niggas like I would with
Oh,
Sinead.
shit.
It's like y'all my friends and it's whatever.
You got some
Like
more
I don't live
It
with
is
you.
hard.
I don't
Wait.
live with you niggas every day, so
Men to men, honesty
Yeah.
is a different type
Yeah.
of shit. We should have a conversation.
yeah, I mean we can do that, but I just like wait, if it's
See?
it's just different with my partner. So I mean,
It's actually easier being honest with a woman than men sometimes.
Yeah. So
That's
alright.
why my therapist is a woman.
Alright, let's wrap it up. For episode 77, it's your man Sean Cole.
This man's WW here.
It's your boy Malik, aka the Big Gig Elite.
And it's your boy Darian, aka Clark Kent, and these are the Hentations.
Damn, that's smooth.